He looks very relaxed in that chair. It's a pleasure to welcome Lou Gramm here to WDHA. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
It's good to see you again. The new album has just been released, and I guess I should use the word new in kind of air quotes because I know these songs go back a ways. What finally made you go and say it's time to release these songs?
When my solo albums were recorded, usually if there's 10 songs on an album, we have 13 songs in the works. And some of the songs that didn't make the album were unfinished, but real gems. But we had to take some of the ones that were finished. They were all great songs, but I couldn't get the other songs that were unfinished out of my mind. So here it is, 30 some years later, and I just went back and started listening to those ideas, and they hit me over the head. So I went in and I finished them. Some needed a last verse, some needed a lead guitar. Enough to keep it off an album, but not enough to keep it out of my mind.
Now, when you go back and you write, let's say, an additional verse, how difficult is it to get back into the mindset that you were when you first wrote these songs?
Well, I would listen to them over and over again, and I would ultimately slide into that mindset enough to finish the song in a real positive way.
One of the tracks that stands out, I think it first came out in 1989. It's the unplugged version of True Blue Love. The lyrics, your voice, all of those that in that unplugged setting, Lou, really stand out.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that song was produced by Peter Wolf. I think that was on my Long Hard Look album,
Hmm.
and while he did a great job with he had strings. He almost had an orchestrated version of it and stuff, and I like that. But again, it kept sticking in my mind that just a simple piano version with some percussion would make that song wake up.
I think of your voice and some of the hits that you've had over the years, whether it's with Foreigner or whether it's your solo work. And one of the things that always stood out about it, Lou, was the fact that you could go hard, soft, I think easily, effortlessly. How difficult is that actually?
Um, well, after doing it so long, it's not that difficult. But years back when I had to do that, it was a test of my vocal stamina.
Definitely.
And some days were better than others.
And congratulations on the 50th anniversary, by the way, of Foreigner, which I know there's a lot of huge plans for the band and for you solo this year as well.
I've heard all about it. It sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm going to be participating with the band too.
I know there's a musical as well that's in April, if I'm not mistaken, out on the campus of LIU. How involved, if at all, are you with that based on the band's
Uh,
music?
Not at all. It was done. They were done on their own. They took some uh, um, some hints and some suggestions from the band. But I was not involved. But I've heard and seen some test tapes, and it looks like it's going to be a winner.
One of the things that always amazes me, Lou, is a band has a lengthy catalog, you in particular with Foreigner and your solo work. And you hear stories of Billy Joel turning in the Stranger album to Columbia Records, and they go, nice record, Billy, but I don't hear a hit. Tom Petty turns in the Full Moon Fever album, the solo record. Nice record, Tom, but we don't hear a hit. Was there a moment for you, either with Foreigner or your solo career, where the record company said, I don't hear a hit, and it turned out that there actually were hits there?
I don't recall that ever happening because Mick and I crafted our songs always with the possibility of it being a single, and even the single cuts that we were grooming as singles could have been AOR hits too.
Oh,
So we never had that problem.
No question about it. I know you're also a big baseball fan and you follow the Mets, and we're at the opening of the 2026 season. A lot of roster changes for the Mets. They've lost some big names. What are your
Yes, they
thoughts
have.
on how they'll do this year?
I think they're going to do just fine. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I don't know how much farther they'll go in that, but the people that are on the team now are quality hitters and pitchers, and it's sad about the shakeup of the team and stuff. I was a little stunned at the end of last year about everything that happened, and a little upset too. But I've been a Mets fan since they started, and I think they're in for a good run this year.
I look at it, Lou, the roster changes in some cases as addition by subtraction. There were clearly some issues in that clubhouse last year, and I could see why Steve Cohen said, "Well, we didn't win with these guys. Let's try something different."
Yes, I mean they didn't shuffle everybody out of there, but some of the people they did was very stunning to me.
The new album is called Released. It is a collection of older material that has finally been released, and you can check out everything about Lou Gramm on his website at lougramofficial.com. Lou, always good to check in with you, and congratulations. Best of luck with the album.
Thanks so much. Appreciate the time.